We know a grade 7 about microorganisms. We say that the microorganisms, we have three large kingdoms, which are fungi kingdom, Monera kingdom, and Protoctista kingdom. We know about fungi kingdom. Now let me tell you about Monera kingdom. The Monera kingdom, the living things in it, have microscopic bodies made from just one cell. Made from what? Just one cell. But the cell here doesn't have a nucleus. The cell doesn't have a nucleus. Okay? There are two groups in this kingdom, which are the bacteria and the blue-green algae. Bacteria and the blue-green algae. These are the groups of Monera kingdom. As you see down in the pictures, bacteria and blue-green algae. Let's know about each one of them in details. Let's start with bacteria. Bacteria are found in grade 7 almost everywhere. We can find it everywhere, in the air, sometimes in the food we eat, sometimes we find it also inside our bodies. Do you remember when we spoke about digestive system? Yeah, we said that there are some bacteria that useful and helps us in digesting food. Yes. They have spherical, spiral, or rod-like shapes. It has a lot of shapes. Up there, which the picture which is color is purple or pink, this is rod-like shape of bacteria. And down in grade 7, in the right, there are a lot of bacteria shapes. I want you just to know there are a lot of shapes of bacteria. I don't want you to know them in names, okay? Bacteria usually reproduce by a process called fission. By a process called what? Fission. Where each bacterium divides in two. Each bacterium divides in two. We know this since grade 6, grade 7, right? Okay. If they have enough warmth, moisture, and food, some bacteria can reproduce by fission once every 20 minutes. So it divides every 20 minutes. So the process is called what? Fission. And if they have enough warmth, moisture, and food, bacteria can reproduce by fission once every 20 minutes. When conditions become dry and hot and unsuitable for feeding and breeding, some bacteria form spores. When the conditions around them become dry and hot and unsuitable for feeding and breeding, they form spores. Okay? And they can survive inside their spores for a long time. They can survive inside it for a long time. Okay. They break out of the spores when favorable conditions return. When they found the conditions around them become favorable, they break out of the spores. So if the conditions are not suitable, they make spores. And they survive inside these spores for a long time. Okay? And they break out of the spores when favorable conditions return. Some bacteria feed on the insides of living bodies. On what? Insides of living bodies, where they cause disease. Examples for the diseases that are caused by different kinds of bacteria: diphtheria, whooping cough, cholera, typhoid, tuberculosis, and food poisoning. They are all diseases caused by different kinds of bacteria. Like, do you see the picture here down? with the red cells we find bacteria. This bacteria cause diseases. Okay, if you would like to, you can open the internet and read about these diseases in more details. There are two groups in this kingdom, which are the bacteria and the blue-green algae. Bacteria and the blue-green algae. These are the groups of Monera kingdom. As you see down in the pictures, bacteria and blue-green algae. Let's know about each one of them in details. Let's know about the useful bacteria. Let's know about what? The useful bacteria. Some kinds of bacteria are useful. For example, yogurt. Yogurt is made by introducing certain bacteria to milk and making it turn sour. Making it turn what? Sour. And vinegar also is made by allowing other bacteria to feed on ethanol and change it into acetic acid. Okay, here are two examples for the useful bacteria. It helps us in making yogurt and vinegar. Now let's know about the blue-green algae. The blue-green algae, which is the other group of Monera. Blue-green algae live in seas, oceans, and lakes. And they also grow on wet rocks at the sides of streams and rivers, at the tops of rocky seashores, and may occur widely in the soil. When they occur in huge numbers, you can see them. When they are in huge numbers, we can see them exactly like down. Do you see the sea down? We find a lot of blue-green algae, and also the rocks here in the beach, we find on it a lot of algae. The Protoctista kingdom. We know about the fungi kingdom and what's a grade 7? And the Monera kingdom. Very good. Now let's know together about Protoctista kingdom. They have microscopic bodies made from just one cell, also from just one cell, which contains a nucleus. In Protoctista, the cell contains a nucleus, but in Monera, the cell doesn't contain a nucleus, right? The Protoctista live in aquatic habitat and damp places as soil, like they need a place that is wet, okay, such as soil. Some make their own foods by what? By photosynthesis, like plants, and they are called unicellular plants or protophyta. The one that makes its own food by photosynthesis is called unicellular plants or protophyta. Other members of this group feed as animals do and are sometimes called unicellular animals or protozoa. So some of them make their own food by photosynthesis and called protophyta or unicellular plants, and some of them feed as animals and are called protozoa or unicellular animals. Okay, the outside of the body may have a single long hair, just one long hair, or flagellum. In certain kinds of Protoctista called flagellates, called what? Flagellates, or a coating of tiny hairs called cilia, in kinds called ciliates. Why do they have this? Down in this picture you have amoeba flagellate and ciliate. In flagellate, I find what? I find flagellum. The flagellum is a single long hair. And in ciliate, I find cilia. Okay? Why do they have this? To help it move through the water around it. To help it what? Move through the water around it. Flagellates lash the long hair like a whip to move. They lash this long hair like a whip to move. And ciliates wave their tiny hairs to and fro. To and fro. You can see this picture more clear in your book. You will find it in your book, page 60. Okay, so they have this long hair in order to help them move. Maybe a long hair in flagellate and tiny hairs called cilia in ciliates. One kind of protozoa known as amoeba doesn't have a flagellum or cilia. It doesn't have flagellum or cilia. Like what? Very good, like flagellate and ciliate. So how does it move? It makes projections from its body wall called pseudopodia. Do you see the picture down? Do you see its shape? It has something that out from its body, that gets out from its body. Do you see it? These are pseudopodia, or they called false feet. These pseudopodia help it to move along and find food. It helps it what? To move along and find food. Some members of the Protoctista live in the bodies of other organisms. They live in the bodies of other organisms. And some that live in humans cause diseases. Like what? Like malaria, sleeping sickness, and amoebic dysentery. They are diseases caused by members of Protoctista, which live inside the human. Just a grade 7, you have a homework in your workbook, pages 19, 20, and 21. Be sure that you do your homework. I might ask you the next week to see your homeworks. Okay, grade 7? Just please check your lessons, revise from your books. You have the pictures, all of the pictures inside your book. You are just asked to know about the pictures inside your book, to know how to draw it and to label it. Okay, good luck, grade 7.